Check out what I just got for $10. Let's get started on rebuilding this thing. In this video, I'm gonna break down everything that's wrong with this Tamiya Grasshopper, starting with the body and then getting down to the electronics under the hood. So let's get into it. I already have some pretty good plans for this, starting with this RS540 Tamiya Sport Tune motor, a Hobbywing ESC and Futaba servo combo, and who knows, we might repaint the old body with this Tamiya spray paint, or find another body to retrofit on there and paint as well. So I'm just giving you guys a closer look at the box of this Tamiya Sport Tune motor. Now this is gonna make it go faster than what's already on there, and I'm really excited for this thing. I can't wait to swap this in there. This brushed ESC from Hobbywing is gonna go hand in hand with the Tamiya motor. It was one of the cheapest ones out there, so we'll see how it holds up with some modern electronics. To kick it off, we'll run with the nickel metal hydride battery, but who knows, we might update to a LiPo battery later. Who knows, but this thing should be good. Now the Futaba servo, this is what I picked up that was originally on the car. Now I don't know if the old one works, but we're just gonna swap it out and replace the old one with this new servo. Now my plans for the Tamiya paint were originally to repaint the old body. Now I have this green Tamiya paint, but we have more coming on the way. Now all of that process will come in a separate video, as I'm still waiting on some pieces and other parts to arrive. Now with all of that out of the way, let's quickly jump into this Futaba radio controller that it came with. Have a good look at it. You can see it has 2 channels. Now this thing is from 1984. That's pretty much what people had to work with. And if you flip it over to the side, you can see that the battery compartment is missing the flap, and it looks like it takes about 8 batteries. I tested it out, but this thing didn't work, but overall, it's pretty cool. I'm gonna give you guys a quick 360 view of the Grasshopper. You can see that the antenna is held on by some painter's tape, and the connectors for the battery look pretty decent. Moving on back, you can see this little metal part just dangling there. I'm not sure what that was for, but I believe it's to hold the battery in. Moving on to the back, you can see the transmission case is caked up with dirt, mud, and grime over the years. And surprisingly, the rear tires still have a little bit of stubbies left. Now moving on to the rear wheels, you can see that it's gold plated. Now I think these gold plated kind of wheels and rims are pretty cool. Further back, we go to the shock assembly. You can see they're a bit stiff. That's pretty much why it bounces around like a grasshopper all over the place. Anyways, as we move on to the motor, you can see that the connectors are kind of ripped off. You can see that red one ripped off right there. And the 2 brush guards, the one on this side looks pretty decent as well. And then everywhere on the car, you can see some little specks of paint everywhere. We'll have to clean that. A close inspection of the body, and you can see that this piece here detaches. Now, that's not normal. Now, I'm not sure how this happened, but with the screws here up front, that may be why this broke, and it might be prone to breaking. This piece probably just lifted up and broke off. Now, the 2 fog lamps here, they're still intact, but normally these tend to break off as well. They just pop off. On the side view here, this poor little guy's just begging for mercy. But yeah, panning down, this thing is just pretty much missing stickers all over the place. It says don't touch up here because every time you do, this thing just falls apart. But yeah, I think we have a lot of work to do on this thing. With the body off, you can see all the electronics that this came with back in 1984, starting with the servo here. Having a quick look at everything, it looks like nothing has been changed, but there's still a few pieces that are banged up. The wiring on the back here to this thing, I'm not sure what it even is for. As you can see, this wire right here has been cut. A closer inspection shows that this thing was held on by tape. When it was hooked up to the ESC, it's no wonder why it wasn't working properly. It was originally clipped in right there. Aside from that wire and the motor wires, every other wire looks to be okay, I guess. There's a little bit of grime everywhere on this thing. And oh look, there's some leftover hot glue. The antenna here is all floppy and everything, held on by blue masking tape, but as I said before, the connectors to the battery look to be okay. A thing a lot of people try to do, and what I'm going to probably do myself, is replace the bearings on this thing to get the wheels spinning a lot more smoother and hopefully give us a little bit more power, but this is how the wheels spin for now. We'll get into the differential and pretty much swap everything out. Another thing we're going to potentially try to do is, you can see the body mount posts here, where the screws go in. We're going to try to put some body mount posts on there. There's 4 places to put body mount posts here, but we'll try to get through and scrape off some junk here before we start. And this body here is pretty much broken and beaten up, so I'm not sure what else we can get on there, but maybe we can use this one or retrofit a different one on there. Flipping it over on its back, and it's got all its screws there. There's nothing really wrong with it. Every single screw up front is on there. We have this on and off switch up front, and I tried to turn it on, but it didn't work. The side brush guards, as I said, are pretty good, and there's nothing really wrong with it either. One thing though is this metal piece here. As you can see, it's loose. I'm not sure if that was originally there, but I do know that the battery goes here. And I don't know why, but there's some gunk down here for some reason. Maybe we can scrape some of this off. I don't know if you guys can see well, but if you look at the differential, there is a missing screw there. I'm not sure if that's going to be a problem, but overall it's looking pretty good. Everything is in place. So as we wait for some other parts to arrive, I think the next step would be to just clean it off and then get everything ready so then I can fit everything in there once we receive everything. So hopefully you guys can stick around to see how this turns out, and stay tuned for the next episode. Hey guys, Jacobus here. Here are some vids I'd recommend for you to watch as you await the journey on this Tamiya Grasshopper.